This is Valley News Live at noon.
Begin with breaking news. A body that was found yesterday in Grand Forks has been identified as 26-year-old Anthony Valdez. He was last seen early Sunday morning in the downtown area by level 10. His body was found in the alley of 10 block of North 3rd Street. The police is still investigating, but they say that there's no obvious signs of trauma and a cause of death has not been identified.
Dwight Fire, you are needed for an injury accident, I-29, +29, northbound. Trooper on scene is requesting medical. Ambulance is unable to make it. Please respond.
The blast of wind and snow is turning roads into danger zones. Even first responders were having a hard time responding to crashes around the region this morning. Several road closures throughout the eastern part of North Dakota. Here's an updated look at road conditions. You can see I-29 is closed all the way from the Canadian border to South Dakota. Several other no travel advisories. The areas shaded in purple have scattered snow drifts. Now across the river in Moorhead or in Minnesota, a similar picture. I-94 is closed from Moorhead to Carlisle. Highway 10 from Fargo to Detroit Lakes and Highway 2 from Grand Forks to Crookston are both closed. You can find all road closures on our website at valleynewslive.com. But now let's go over to meteorologist Lisa Green with a quick look at the weather. Lisa?
Well, good morning or afternoon now. Unfortunately, we still have the same conditions from this morning carrying over into the afternoon hours. Blizzard still ongoing in spots, and we've got dangerous cold taking over too on this first alert weather day. Check out this view. If you've been watching through the day, I've kept this view for a while because I want to see those conditions improve, and they have at times, but then we get another blast of wind, another snow squall coming through, and visibility is right back down again in Fargo as we are taking a look at our Luther Family Ford Skycam. So this is an ongoing issue even now as we head into the afternoon hours, and wind speeds remain quite strong. We're looking at gusts in Fargo getting up to about 50 miles per hour. We were just at 51 miles per hour just a second ago. Literally a second ago, we saw that come down to 49. So I'm hoping that trend will continue. You can see up north that we're starting to ease up on the gusts a little bit. So that's a good sign too, but we're still in that area of winds that are strong enough to still create these blizzard conditions. And in fact, we're seeing visibility still down to a quarter mile in Crookston. It's doing a little better in Fargo, but we're at a half mile there. Half mile in Wahpeton, Detroit Lakes at a half mile, and Grafton and Hallock less than a mile visibility in those areas. So again, those are in the town at the airports. In open country, it's a lot tougher. And looking at our winds, they will continue to just kind of steadily dip as we go through each hour this afternoon. But even into the evening hours tonight, we're looking at gusts above 30 miles per hour. Now that may create some improving conditions in town, but out in the country, we're still looking at some issues with blowing snow into the evening hours tonight. So this is something to bear in mind if you still have some travel plans for today. Hopefully you've been able to reschedule them. So we've got some flashing going on here because our blizzard warning has been extended now into the 3 o'clock hour, and it's right for the heart of the Red River Valley here where we're seeing some of our worst winds and lowest visibilities, right in those areas where we have those road closures right now. The winter weather advisory has been allowed to expire at noon. Wind advisory in the south, and then all of us are now included with some updates here flashing in a wind chill advisory. That's the next stage in this system. The cold air, the wind combining, and it's already chilly out there. We're going to talk more about that coming up and when the timing on when we will see conditions really start to improve as far as out on the roads and visibility coming up here in just a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Lisa. It feels like the wind just won't let it go today.
It's been gusting into the 50s in Fargo and other places for hours now. So you're right, it's been persistent.
Thank you, Lisa. 2 people hurt and 7 vehicles damaged near Motley, Minnesota. State troopers say a van driver crossed the center line of Highway 64 last night and hit the back wheels of a propane truck coming from the opposite direction. The truck was pushed off the road, vaulted near the shoulder of the highway, and landed on its side, damaging 4 parked cars in the process. A tire from the propane trunk flew off and slammed into a pickup that was behind the van. 2 of the drivers were injured. Highway 64 was closed while crews worked to clean up the crash. Anti-vaccine truckers are now blocking 3 border crossings between the U.S. and Canada. Now the Biden administration is putting new pressure on Canada to end the protest. Chris Van Cleve is near Detroit. Near the border, the blocked Ambassador Bridge, which carries about 25% of all trade between the U.S. and Canada.
This morning marks the 5th day of the nation's most lucrative trade route remaining closed as Canadian protesters blockade the Ambassador Bridge. It's forcing truckers to drive to a different, smaller border crossing about 2 hours outside of Detroit.
It doesn't take a lot to shut the bridge down.
Bruce Heyman is the former U.S. ambassador to Canada.
This moves from a legitimate, I think, protest over a vaccine mandate to now putting the economy and lives at risk.
It's a very impactful thing. I hope that we resolve quickly.
Brian Hitchcock owns a trucking company outside Lansing.
No, sir.
He's parked trailers that would normally make daily runs between Detroit and Canada. It's 40% of his business, which he says was already struggling in part due to vaccine mandates.
What does that mean for your bottom line?
The mandate was affecting it anyways because we were having a shortage of drivers that were vaccinated. So we were falling behind every week. So this just magnified it.
As the economic fallout grows, pressure is mounting on Canadian leaders.
I have been on the horn with our Canadian ambassador, with the White House. I mean, I am imploring them to get this resolved.
The so-called Freedom Convoy also continues to clog the streets of Canada's capital, Ottawa. And the protests have now spread globally, from a blockade outside the New Zealand Parliament to a trucker convoy making its way across France. In the U.S., the Department of Homeland Security is now surging staff to their incident command post in Los Angeles following a warning about a possible trucker protest during Super Bowl Sunday. One estimate puts the lost wages just for Michigan residents because of the 5-day blockade at about $51 million. Canadian authorities are now calling these blockades illegal. The community of Windsor, just across the bridge here, is seeking an injunction to try to force the protesters to move, and police are bringing in reinforcements. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Detroit.
It's a somber day in Fargo as local law enforcement remember fallen Fargo police officer Jason Mosher. The Fargo Police Department held a memorial service this morning to honor their brother in blue. He was killed 6 years ago today while responding to a domestic disturbance in North Fargo. There's some big help coming for frontline workers in Minnesota. Governor Tim Walz is holding a ceremonial signing today of a bill that extends workers' comp benefits to frontline workers and first responders who contracted COVID-19 while working. It's the first bill to pass by the 2022 state legislature. Coming up at noon, making a career out of breaking records. How many one-man claims he's accomplished.